So, quick midweek review of Centennial Park. Went up to Centennial Park yesterday evening, which is in the township or King City, off of Jane Street, off of the 400. Yeah, I've been here quite a few times, particularly last year. You drive along Jane Street, and then there's like these two ornate pillars off the road. You turn in, there's a huge car park. I think Tuesday nights, probably from kind of May until September, maybe, they do like a race thing or some riding thing, some local club. But the rest of the time, there's normally 2 or 3 cars there, often no cars there. And there are 3 main loops. There's the west loop and the east loop and the centre loop. The west loop being the easiest, the centre loop being a bit harder, and then I guess the east loop is a bit more tricky. And then there's a Highline trail, which I did yesterday. So it's cool. There's like a covered area with benches. There's a little work stand. There's often a porta potty there. It's not too full of hikers and walkers, maybe at the weekend, but you get the odd runner, the odd dog walker, and it is a multi-use trail system. It's for hiking as well as mountain biking. It's 2-way, which is a bit of a pain in the arse because you can be charging along on the sort of descents, and then someone's coming the other way. And as is the issue over here, nobody really stops or says anything. It's bizarre. I was there yesterday. There was a guy on a Specialized S-Works something carbon hardtail doing laps, and I think he was in the Olympics. Or training for the Olympics. But anyway, it's a really good place to go to progress because you learn it quite quickly. If you have an hour, you could easily fill an hour of riding. I tend to do sort of go in on the green loop, then turn left on the Highline, then turn left on the east loop. Sorry, that's not true. I go in on the green on the west loop, then I pick up the centre loop, then I pick up the east loop, and then I come back on the centre loop, so the opposite way, and then I come back on the west loop the opposite way. And then what I'll often do is then go back round again and do the Highline, which kind of cuts all the way through, and then you come back again on the centre loop, and I'll go the opposite direction, so up the big hills. And then the opposite direction, which is really fun, on the west loop, unless there's nobody coming. Sure if any of that makes sense. So, out of the car park, take a left and follow the west loop, take a left and follow the centre loop, take a left and follow the east loop all the way around. And then when you come back to where you started on the east loop, go left because you're going in the opposite direction. Go left again on the west loop, and then you come back to the car park, and then I go out again the opposite way. So from the car park, take a right and go on the west loop, then take the little right, which is you'll see on Trail Forks, which is the Highline, which cuts all the way through Centennial Park, and then come back on the centre loop trail, taking right, so the opposite way to the way that you came out on in the first place, and then taking the west loop back again on the opposite way that you went out in the first place. And by the time you've done all of that, you can get up to, maybe 5 miles or so. So it's fun. Could easily spend a couple of hours there. There's a big field. If you're there in the summer, it's quite pleasant to kind of hang out and have a picnic. The mosquitoes in the forest are a pain in the ass. Outside of the forest aren't too bad. Yeah, it's an interesting place. On the edibles side, we have had lion's mane there at one point. Keep looking at that tree, but they're not there. Not much else. We collected a lot of things last year, but they weren't edible. There's no ramps yet. It feels like it should have potential, but it generally doesn't seem to. Anyway, we will both be back there riding again soon. Just to say that I smoked my I smoked everything last night. In a very sort of unimpressive. I don't even know what the word is, but I did all the loops, and it was getting on a little bit. Not anywhere near dark. I was just enjoying the temperature. Even had the GoPro. Went down the Highline Trail, picked up a stick, smoked my rear mech completely, and snapped a spoke. I pushed the spoke through the. I still don't quite know what I did. I think I pushed the spoke through the. Whatever I did, all the air came out the tyre. Anyway, somehow I ended up. And I still need to probably check it actually. Should have done that last night. Basically, I think I pushed the tyre off the rim or did something to the tyre. I was running a lower tyre pressure than I normally run because of just experimenting. Literally picked up an inch diameter stick that smoked the mech completely, snapped some of the bits and pieces on there, so that doesn't really work anymore. Snapped a spoke. I think that's all I've done. Maybe something to the tyre, have a spare tyre. So I need to replace the spoke, which I will try and do this week. I'm done with electronic shifting. I've tried. I really have tried, and I'm not enjoying it. It's too much responsibility. It's too expensive, and it's a bit ridiculous. And I didn't realise how ridiculous it was until I realised how many times I wallop the mech. I think I've gone through 3 hangers in a year on my DV8, and I probably push it more. The hanger did what it was supposed to last night, i.e. it didn't snap the frame, but it's done a lot of damage. So I literally am done. I am going back to XX1 mech and shifter and cable for the foreseeable future, and I'll replace the Axis mech at some point, and I may put it on something else in the future. But for now, it just seems pointless. I've tried it. It's kind of enjoyable, but it's also pretty limiting, and it means that you're beholden to bike shops really to get everything set up properly. So that's my ramble about that. What else to say? So interestingly, suspension was running fine, everything was running fine, slightly lower tyre pressures, unusual for me. I'm normally pushing them too high, running them slightly lower. Something weird happened with that stick. I'm not sure if the spoke pushed back through the rim or what. I don't know until I get to that, but something happened. All the air came out fairly quickly. Still don't know what I did. I was even GoProing it. Can't see because obviously I'm looking forward and not down at the wheel, but something strange. It's not even a spectacular bang or anything. It's just like a weird kind of like a playing card stuck in the spokes. Anyway, that's my quick review of Centennial. We will both be there at some point, and we'll put up another episode soon. Thanks for listening.